finishing a game is so difficult. It's like, so many people want to make games, and so many people fail because they never can actually finish the games. And finding studios that can actually, or people that can actually finish things is super difficult. I definitely didn't come to Seattle to run a business. I came to Seattle to try to get into the business. We have a company just over 20 people. So we try to keep it small. We don't really want to grow. We like just being able to have conversations with each other and kind of be able to yell at each other over our monitors and walk around and see what people are working on and have this, like, these creative conversations about what we're trying to do, and just like, come look at this, what do you guys think? Yeah, we try to stick with mostly just people that are gamers too. We love games, we love talking about them, so pretty much you make your own games, you can come to Runic.
Seattle chose us. Well, we were already, at least the group of us that were at Flagship before, we were already based in Seattle. So when Flagship as a whole closed its doors, there we were, kind of looking at each other like, well, what should we do now? Obviously, most people just, start sending out resumes, ask friends for ideas. But I never planned to leave Seattle even when that happened. I mean, it was especially easy because at the time, Travis, who became the first president of Runic Games, was saying, look, I'm gonna find a way to keep us all together. It was about 14 of us. Like nobody go get a job quite yet. I think we can make this work and actually make a new company. So totally did. Just hung out for, I'd say about 2 months and did some odd jobs to keep me afloat in the meantime. Yeah, and then we started back up.
No, we wanted to make a Diablo clone. No, I mean, you always want to put your own little twist on it. Travis actually had made Fate, and so we brought a lot of his knowledge over about like the Pet, for instance. Pet came from Fate. But we also wanted more of a friendlier art style, so we did that. Torchlight actually came from us wanting to play an action RPG game. Like Diablo 2 had been at what had it been, like 8 years, something like that. And no one had actually done a randomized action RPG game like that. And so we said, let's do it. We're gonna just do this, and that's what we did.
I think we were going for more of a, visually more of a vibrant, fun look right away. Level design wise, we were definitely trying to take the concept of randomized levels and dungeons and really take it to the next level. So we did a lot of variations on that. We would have mine shafts with a ton of monsters that would just pile out all at once, and we realized that that's like a really good punctuation point, right? Like people love that, and it's almost an oh shit moment. It's like, oh wow. It's like when you play some other games and things go wrong, sometimes that's the most fun. So that's something that we kind of realized early on, and I think we did better than some other games. There was never really a formula for what we were doing. We were just kind of seeing what was hitting and what was missing, and we were kind of adjusting on the fly. And the first one, Torchlight, was such a short development cycle that I think that's part of what also made it great. There wasn't a lot of time to stop and overthink things. It was just go, go, go.
We've been working on Mythos before that for a while, and we all thought Mythos was really cool. Like there felt like there was something good there, and we had to stop working on it when we lost the company. But we just, before that, a lot of us had worked on, well, some of us had worked on Fate, and then we worked on Mythos, and then we went right into doing Torchlight. which meant that we kind of had figured a lot of stuff out, right? Like we knew, oh, you have to do this to make an action RPG, and then you do this and this and this, and then we just put our ducks in a row, and then there was a lot of like, oh, we could do this better this time. Like we won't do this stupid thing this time, we'll do it even better. And so Torchlight ended up, we were really bummed to lose Mythos, but then Torchlight ended up being a lot better than Mythos. Like we liked it a lot better in the end because of all the lessons that we learned coming into it. When we worked at Wild Tangent earlier, we were making games in 1 to 3 months each, like start to finish. And you could tell by the games that they didn't have a lot of time and money in them, but they were pretty impressive by for the amount of time we had. And so we were used to working fast and working pragmatically and just putting it together as we could, right? And everyone has to pitch in. Like you can't just say like, I am this job and I only do this. Everyone has to say, oh, well, I've used up my time on this. I can move over and I can help with this, and I have an idea for this, and I can do that, at night and get that in there, and that gives everyone a sense of ownership of the game, which is really important because that makes you care about it more, and that makes you go the extra mile for it.
It was insane, just how much went into that game so quickly, and the team was incredible as far as getting that game together and into a really solid experience. I think we were all surprised and blown away about how big a success it actually was. Really, the guys on the team here were really not settling for anything but the best we could possibly do, and really seeing and putting an incredible amount of love and care into what we were doing here. And it's one of the things that I really love about the industry is people can tell, and fans can tell, and people who play games and love games can really tell how much care you put into it, and it really resonates with them. And that's an incredibly incredible thing about game development and the industry in general.
That was a project at a time when we really gelled and pushed forward and just kind of had the same understanding of what we wanted to do, which I think is a testament to why we were able to get it out in that amount of time. So it was a scary, tumultuous time, but also like a tremendous opportunity to have a redo on a lot of things we were doing. Yeah, and I think it ended up just being like a stronger project overall.
It was hell, and it was fun. We didn't have a ton of money, and like most studios at start, yeah, we worked day and night, and we got together. We formed Runic in August and shipped in September. Not of that same year. So, but yeah, it was hard. I'm not gonna lie, it was tough. Yeah, and we probably would have wanted to keep going, but we ran out of money, so we had to release it, and we did.
It's one of those projects that it went great. It was tough, it was challenging, it was tiring, but overall it went pretty smooth, and I think that's one of my fondest games that I've worked on so far. I think we took a break. We took a short break, and at that point there was question of, Torchlight MMO was kind of in the air, and then we kind of decided like, well, we don't have the team for this. We don't want to quadruple our team size to get this done, but there's elements of that we would like to do, so let's find some middle ground.
So we started on Torchlight 2 as a multiplayer game, and we also at that point, Travis and myself ported the Torchlight game over to the 360, which really did delay Torchlight 2. Like we would have had Torchlight 2 out way before. So we started that, and by the end of Torchlight 2, everybody was done. I mean, not done, they were just burnt out. They were just like blood coming out of their eyes, bloodshot. It was crazy. It was, if Torchlight 1 was hell, like Torchlight 2 at the end was Dante's like 9th level of like hell. It was like we were sleeping at our desks trying to get that game done, and it was just, everybody I think kind of forgot, looking back, just how bad that was. But yeah, we definitely were like, we want to play a Diablo 2 game again. Let's make it. And that's what we did.
Immediately after, we had a much different game. We actually started. We started a game that was kind of a sci-fi game that was a really cool mix of different genres, and we actually worked on that for quite a while.
We really couldn't get it going, like we can get everybody just on board to do it. So we scrapped it and we started making a randomized Zelda based off the original Zelda. We went about 6 months with that, and yeah, we decided that that wasn't really what we were going to make, and we kind of rearranged it, and we realized that we didn't really want to do the randomization stuff anymore, but we still like the idea of the Zelda-esque style game, but then we also wanted to add a bunch of other stuff in, and then Hob was born from that. We've been doing randomized games probably for 6 years plus, and we finally just wanted to make something handmade, just like everything, every blade of grass we put down ourselves.
I think we needed a break, and everybody, you know, likes different types of games in here, and we were kind of discussing what the connective tissue of the team is, of what we enjoy, and we enjoy puzzles, we enjoy platforming. We enjoy a certain type of combat, so we wanted to take that and do something fresh with it and put our own spin on it.
Development kind of comes in peaks and valleys, and when you start off on a project, it's incredibly exciting for everyone on the team. Every day is a new experience, and things come really fast and quickly, and the way we do things here is we really try and prototype things as quickly as possible and really try and get things into a playable state as quickly as possible, so people can actually jump in and experience it, and that can really foster and build new ideas, and so that part of development is always incredibly exciting for everyone.
It was definitely a roller coaster for a little while. Trying to start a game that you don't really have very many references for. We had lots of ideas from our favorite games, but it was basically a whole new IP. We were trying to figure out how we could do the mechanics that we wanted to try to do. So it ended up being a roller coaster. We chopped and chopped and chopped, rewrote things twice, maybe even 3 times.
Oh yeah, we went through tons and tons of iterations to try and figure out exactly what the style would end up being, and our office walls are totally peppered with all of the concept designs that we have done. There have been different points in time during the development where it felt like we were making something completely different. And as we went along, and kind of part of the nature of game design is discovery on what works, what doesn't work, and what you really want to do. And we found more of what Hob was as we went along in a lot of cases.
The character of the Hob that's something that was very early on. We had ideas behind what we wanted the character to be that I think some of them are still there. The look had definitely changed quite a bit.
We have an archive of over a dozen iterations of the main character, and it's neat to see the progress from point to point to point. But I think the underlying essence of what we wanted to hit has been in there all along. It's just that each iteration was typically a little closer to what we wanted to be true.
When we envisioned what this character would be, we really wanted the character to represent you as a player. So through the game experience itself, you wake up into this world, and you know as much as the actual character does. And it's a bit of a discovery and really trying to figure out and find out what's going on, and really kind of trying to understand what your role is in all of this, and then kind of knowing and learning why you're important and why you have more meaning and purpose.
Somebody just made a joke, well, you know, after this, our next game, we're just not gonna have any words. right? And it's one of those things that kind of like, oh, well, wait a second. And then it kind of stuck, and then we kind of gravitated towards what we could do with that. And I think we were a bit naive in that we thought it would be easier to do a game with no words, and it turns out it's a lot more difficult because you have to convey so much more in the world and through environment storytelling, and we're still figuring out the right way to do that even this late. But that's kind of where I think some other cool moments in the game have sprung up because of a result of that. But there are areas in the game where the player can discover things if they have the right item to gain access to that do hint at the backstory of the game and what's happening. It's something that we're not talking about otherwise. And we're hoping that players will find those pieces to the puzzle and, you know, with other players try to put them together to figure out what's happened.
When I interviewed, you know, they immediately brought up that the game is based on kind of like games that we all played in our childhoods, like Ico, Shadow of Colossus. I'm a big Journey fan, and those are all narrative light but mood heavy games, and the mood kind of becomes a vessel for the story. You know, there's definite parts in all three of those games where you can easily feel in the atmosphere like what's happening or anticipate something that's about to happen, whether it's a weighty emotional moment or something kind of nice and a little happier. So there are artistic influences in the game, but almost more so we're influenced by like the mood of other games and like how do you craft a mood, and part of it is animation, part of it is sound, part of it is art, part of it is just you know, physically moving through the world. And I think we all have to work together closely to do that, so it's a lot of communication.
Hob is definitely, like most games just get whittled down until you have the bare essentials of what you really want, and they all work together. The original idea for Hob was, it was crazy. it was for our team was just, but you know, that's how you start, and then you just start whittling it down. And we ran into a lot of issues with like, what does the world feel like? What does it look like? And we didn't really have any references. We really were just trying to start all anew.
There are always more questions than we initially thought we had, and always more challenges that are a little bit more difficult than we thought were really there. And it's a constant back and forth of kind of having an idea and pushing that forward, facing a hurdle or a challenge, and finding and discovering new ways to really overcome that and new ways to create things. And it's a cool experience. I don't think it's like anything else, actually.
Well, one of the things I always wanted for Hob was to make the world feel alive. And to do that, you have things move, things react, and then you also have to have life. So yeah, we let our artists go crazy.
There's some I can't talk about, but I did do the Stilt Horse, who's the very, very tall giraffe-looking horse, striped, long-legged guy. Yeah, he's had like 5 different names. Like every team that touches him like calls him something different, and I think finally Patrick, our game director, was like, the Stilt Horse. Like I called him the tall guy when I was making him. I did the fly hoppers as well that are in the forest. They were in an earlier demo. They jump and spit like spitballs at you. I do like goofier. I'm always drawn to like stupider characters, and so I feel like I really love designing the creatures, and I feel like all the creatures I designed are like some part stupid, some part goofy, and I really like that, and I hope other people do too. Sound is incredibly, incredibly important. It's 50% of the experience, honestly. You know, you can close your eyes or you can plug your ears, and that's basically how you experience a game.
Our sound designer, Ko-Chun, was a newer addition to the team for this project. I know that from personal experience, Colin and I both, when we animate, are definitely hearing the sounds that go into our animations. So the sound design aspect of it has always been important to just getting the feel right. And now with Ko-Chun here, we have someone that we work hand in hand with on a lot of those things.
Well, I do all the sound design on Hubs, so it comes down to like every category, from like creatures to the player to combat. The creatures, the more basic creatures, most of those are sort of mostly pulled from real life recordings, either mine or somebody else's. Some of the other enemies have more humanoid forms. I generally just voice them overall, and maybe blend them with other sources. It helps to use my own voice in the sense that I can like express a certain surprise or whatever it is just by using your voice, like instead of having to dig through other recordings of other people's things. It just gives you more direct control.
So mostly what we talk about when I talk to Coach Yoon about sound is like, it's not like, oh, I wanna hear like a metal sound here, I wanna hear this sound here. We're more like, well, what's the story we're trying to tell here? I don't wanna tell him like, I created this creature based on a duck, so you should make it sound like a duck. Like, he's the expert. So I'm kind of like, well, this creature lives in this habitat and he interacts with the characters like this, and kind of, I give Coach Yoon more of like a sense of maybe the character and like his personality, and then let him run with it.
I mean, I am really much inspired by visuals. So, our team they're all very, very good artists, and a lot of the ideas and cool things that come out of their explorations set off things in my head for what I think they might sound like at that moment. When we get in a good rhythm, we're able to like have an idea and I try something, and then when it's shown to them, they give me their revision on what they've done, and we just sort of get to navigate through and find something that ends up being, like, oh, this fits together well.
The people in the community I have found to be people of strong moral character. These are people who are generally very thoughtful and want to listen to dissenting opinions, and they don't want to shout down people. That's something that you see from time to time, and there are people out there who will help step in and want to be part of more of a positive place for everybody who shares an interest in our game.
It's really special to connect with people who are excited about what you're doing and talk really specifically about that with people. I love that part. We love having people in the office. Did around when we were pushing Torchlight 2 out for a few more months of polish, we had some of the community members fly in to the office and took them out and talked to them about what we were doing, and we just wanted that announcement to come to our fans and our community first, and not something that they read about, in a press release. That was really important to us.
Earlier this year, somebody said that they were, on the Steam community, said that they were going on a shower strike until the game was released. And so, we really value hygiene at this company, and so we think that's important. And so what we ended up doing was we made and sent like a special branded Hob bar of soap, along with a little letter, kind of gently nudging them in the direction to take a shower. So, we think that's an important part of the day.
As a studio, we haven't changed that much. We still have our same goals that we've always had. The personnel has changed. It's been a while. Certain people have left and gone off to do other things, which is great, to be honest. Not because we were in conflict or anything, but people have to grow and people have to do different things.
For me, it's been a really cool adventure. It's been an adventure of discovery, and for us as a team, it's really been a unique experience where we threw ourselves into a project with a lot of unique challenges and creating something where we had to develop new technology for it, new processes and new ways of trying to create the experience that we wanted people to have out of that. And it's been a really fun process, really trying to discover what that is and discovering new ways for us to do things, and finding new ways to organize ourselves to solve problems and unique challenges we never had with Torchlight.
I think we're definitely a stronger studio now than we were. You really rely on the other people with a game this challenging, and everybody has to bring their A game to the table. it's scary and exciting coming to work knowing you're surrounded by these really smart, creative people, and that you've got to keep up with them. So they're pushing you, and in return you push them so that everybody can continue to evolve as a developer. But I think it's definitely been a positive, and we've done this together, and we've grown at a studio, and I think we're a lot stronger.
We are a studio now that just, we need to be able to prove that we're just not a Torchlight style company. And we just have more to say than change, really. We want to still prove ourselves and prove that we can do what we love to do and do it well. And we just don't make Diablo clones, so, even though they're awesome.